Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the March 4th edition of Star Wars Headlines. I'm Rebekah Mosley, co-founder of LaughingPlace.com, and with me is Mike Celestino, our editorial director for Star Wars content here at Laughing Place. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Oh man, it's nice and sun. I don't know what it's like down there, but it's nice and sunny up here. We've kind of had a little bit of like like a little bit of gloom, a little bit of sunny, and so I'm very happy to have a nice, bright and sunny day. So I'm like all like solar charged.
Yeah, I haven't been outside yet today, but I'll probably go for a walk after this. But it does look nice out.
Oh, we've already got a few people wishing us some hellos. Hey, Bianca. Hey, George. Is it George? I think you said it. It's what? Gary. That's right, Gary.
It's
Grogu. And then Kidder wants a shout out because Kidder's doing some college homework currently. So glad we can be a little distraction in the midst of the college homework, which can get laborious. I know how that can be. Well, Mike, I guess we can start off with the latest Star Wars comics that you've been enjoying.
Yeah, we had two Star Wars comics that I reviewed this week. The first one was The High Republic #3, written by our pal Kevin Scott. This is the other one.
This is the other one. Hang on.
That's okay.
Is it? Hang on. Is that the second link? There it is. Sorry about that. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, this is The High Republic #3, just continuing that story by Kevin Scott. And I'm really enjoying this series. And this one deals with the second of the two major antagonists in the High Republic, called the Drengir.
Nice artwork.
Yeah, I've actually been interacting with the artist on Twitter. He seems like a nice guy.
Oh, that's cool. That's one of the neat things about Twitter, how you can kind of interact with the people as you receive it. A lot of times in the past, it would be that we would have received these comics, enjoyed them, consumed them, and then it wouldn't have been until like a Comic-Con event or something like that where we had the opportunity to provide direct feedback.
Right. Yeah, but I'm really into this comic. I think it's one of my favorite aspects of the High Republic. They're doing a great job.
And then you also offered a review of the High Republic Adventures #2.
Yeah, so this is the one that's targeted a little bit more of like younger audiences from IDW Comics instead of Marvel Comics. And it's written by Daniel Jose Older, and it actually deals with Master Yoda and a bunch of Padawans off on this adventure, and they're like saving this planet from this thing called the Great Disaster, which we saw in some of the other High Republic materials.
Oh, I see Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Also, this week, Alex over at as part of our Laughing Place team, he highlighted the Four Scores podcast. I only had a chance to listen to a very small bit of this, Mike, but what were some of the highlights that were you able to catch any of this? I know there's like so much going on. Sometimes it takes a while till you can kind of, get to everything.
Yeah, I actually just listened to this about an hour ago, and I enjoyed it. I think the host is a little dry for me of this podcast. He comes across as a little like robotic or something, and I mean that's coming from a guy whose podcast is, I guess, what you would call like low fidelity. But I prefer, I think, when people sound like off the cuff and natural, and this guy is very like, here's the question, and then we wait for the response, and here's the question. But I got some good information from there. I mean, Ludwig Goransson is a very interesting guy, and his techniques are very interesting. He's done a lot of great work beyond The Mandalorian and Black Panther and Fruitvale Station movies with Ryan Coogler, the director, and he worked with Donald Glover on his hip-hop stuff, and they talked about all that, but it was mostly about The Mandalorian and how he came aboard the project and what his process was in coming up with a lot of the themes in the show.
One of the things that I learned from the portion of the podcast that I heard that I didn't know previously was just how heavily he leaned into John Williams as a mentor. Like the interaction between them, he talked about how much he struggled with coming up with a theme for Grogu, and like 10 or 12, I think he said, different themes. He kind of worked his way through, and he mentioned, bringing them to John. As he said, I brought them to John, and that was not an aspect.
Oh, I think
of
when he's saying John, he means Jon Favreau.
Okay,
yeah.
There you go. Okay, that explains it more, because I was like, wow, that's really intensely involved. Okay,
yeah, I don't think
I
don't think John Williams was directly involved with The Mandalorian at all. But I know what you're saying. Like, yeah, when the interviewer, the host of the podcast, asked Ludwig what his earliest Star Wars memory was, first I was like, hey, that's my question I ask on my podcast. But then he was talking about how his first memory was of the music, and he did grow up really kind of idolizing John Williams and listening to his music and getting into classical music kind of through John Williams. So yeah, he did like consider John Williams an idol in that way, for sure.
Okay, that makes so much more sense to me. I'm glad I'm glad I was able to chat with you. I would have existed in my own little world otherwise.
I think I did have the same thought as you when I was listening, because he did say that. Yeah, and then I would take him to John, and I was like, oh wait, he means Jon Favreau. Yeah.
Hey, totally. But I also that was one of the things that really I think initially pulled me into The Mandalorian, because I am a passionate fan of John Williams' music. I've been blessed with the opportunity to see him at the Hollywood Bowl a number of times over the years. I used to drag my family and friends. I would organize a bus trip. I would do like the group tickets and then coordinate bus travel and everything. And we would a large group of us go all together to see John Williams at the Bowl. But when the music of Mandalorian was first, I think that's what drew me in more than anything else. I hadn't been all that intrigued by the story itself, but during that episode, it connected on that level with me, the score. And it's what I think kept me interested until I fell in love with the story itself. And so I'm excited to go back and listen to all of this podcast. I'm only able to listen to a small portion currently. But if you don't find yourself with the time, Laughing Place, Alex over at Laughing Place here, he did a really great job of kind of bringing you just the highlights of it, especially the Mandalorian portion. So be sure to hit Laughing Place for information on that. In the continuing world of Star Wars television programming, we have some casting news for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Indira Varma, who I think we've previously seen. I'm going to scroll and cheat because I don't remember, but I think it was an ABC program.
She's most famous to me from Game of Thrones. Okay. Actually worked alongside Pedro Pascal as one of the Vipers, I think they're called, or something, in Game of Thrones. So I think she plays Pedro Pascal's sister in that show, if I'm remembering correctly. So kind of interesting that they're bringing her in to be an Obi-Wan. We don't know who she's going to be playing or anything, but that's an interesting casting bit.
Do you like to play the speculation game based on anything you know of the world of Obi-Wan and his biography and where you think they might take this? Where does a particular, I mean, for example, when people naturally thought of certain individuals as we heard casting news out of Mandalorian.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's too early to really say. I mean, I saw people guessing, okay, she's going to be Satine in flashbacks. Because Satine is dead. It's Obi-Wan's like girlfriend from Mandalore in the Clone Wars series, but I think that's a pretty big leap to make at this point, especially considering that character is dead. And I don't know if that's a direction that they would go in, is to have a bunch of flashbacks.
Right.
To earlier in the, I don't know. It doesn't seem likely to me.
Yeah, so. I guess it'll really depend on what the goal, what the story arc is for Obi-Wan. But yeah, I would agree that it's the idea that might a percentage of it be told in flashback isn't typical of the genre. And in case you've forgotten, the Obi-Wan series is going to be set midway between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. It's going to be in that time gap. That's what Kathleen Kennedy revealed during the Disney Investor Day event. So Grogu is going to be, well, I guess his pram is auctioned off for charity.
I want to say this is something that they had on their display at Toy Fair or something
Correct.
last year.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic hit, and now they're auctioning it off, it's a pretty cool piece. It's a pretty cool like conversation piece that it actually floats. It's pretty neat looking.
Yeah, they the auction as of the writing of the article we had was about 5K, a little over 5.5K. I'm not sure where it stands at this point, but it's for the organization Project Art, and they support the arts for K through 12 students in underserved communities. And so that's over there. You can check out Laughing Place for more information if you are someone who wants to have the hovering pram in your home and participate in this auction event.
My cats would not let that hover. It would be constantly getting knocked over.
I can only envision how much fun our four-legged friends would have with the pram. I guess Hasbro's been has been announcing some new toys coming. I don't know. Are these really toys? I guess they're toys.
Yeah,
figures.
Toys.
Figures.
They had actually announced these already. We just hadn't seen images of them. So now they've like released the first look at the new Lando Calrissian and IG-11 from the vintage collection. So these are the 3 3/4 inch scale action figures. One from The Empire Strikes Back and one not from The Empire Strikes Back, but from The Mandalorian. Though he looks like IG-88 from The Empire Strikes Back, but now he's got like bandoliers and stuff. So a slightly different looking character.
I like this print inside of the cape.
Yeah, they've been doing a better job, an increasingly more impressive job of getting the details right on a lot of these figures and really getting in there and figuring out, okay, what does this fabric actually look like, and how does it flow on him? Because if you go back and look at some of the older Lando figures, it's not quite as accurate looking.
Oh, and I was gonna say, a lot of times these capes, weren't they pretty much just pieces of vinyl kind of cut out in cape form, two simple holes that would kind of hook around and.
Yeah, and I think I've got one where his cape like pretty much goes all the way down to his feet, but if you watch the movie, it does like fall kind of right behind his knees there.
Very nice. And then, as you say, the
IG-11, yeah,
11 figure.
They released a lot more photos of this one because there's just a lot of different poses that you can do, and the character in the show has all those different like weird poses that he makes when he's shooting at the bad guys or the opposing side.
And so then eventually you can set him up in a pose similar to the one that we saw when he was honored as a statue in the town square, right? So you'll be able to do that as well.
Yeah,
that is this
create
figure,
your own
right?
statue.
Okay.
Yes.
I said that, and then I lost all confidence that I was identifying the right character.
That is the right character, yes.
Wow, the details very cool. Okay, I'll stop browsing myself and move on to the next topic, which is another Black Series, which is a Black Series figure.
Yeah, so this is the slightly larger scale figures, a 6-inch scale, and this is the Rocket Trooper, I think, from Star Wars Battlefront, the video game.
And these are this is a pre-order item, exclusively from GameStop, $24.99, set to ship this summer, and the pre-sale announcement was today, and so Laughing Place published that this morning.
Pretty cool.
More pinball VR. Set.
Yeah, so this is it's kind of like a port of this game, Star Wars Pinball, that's available. I think it's been available on Switch for a while, and maybe some other places. But now you can play it in your Oculus headset, which I think it's gonna make me nauseous again. I just really have a lot of problems with motion sickness in the VR. For some reason, I can't do it without getting motion sick. But I would try it.
I've played some of the Star Wars tables like back when it was just for my phone. I haven't stepped up beyond to like a very nicely sized tablet or on my television yet.
Yeah.
I'll have to give that a try because I enjoyed it when I played it on my phone. All of a sudden, after a certain point value or something, you'd be confronted by Darth Vader on your pinball table and this type of thing, or TIE fighters come flying, around it and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
every once in a while it'll go on sale on the Switch, and I think about picking it up. I used to have it on Xbox or something like that, but I would like to get it again. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the VR though. I'm curious to check it out.
yeah. I haven't found that I engage as well with virtual pinball as I do with just the machine down the road where I stick
Right.
my quarter in
Yeah.
and bump the table periodically, that kind of stuff. So, but I wonder what it would be like in the VR world. I'll have to invite myself over to give it give it a try
Sure.
because I don't have an Oculus. Hey,
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Target Target has shared a new Funko Pop.
Yeah, I guess this is like a stormtrooper with the Imperial insignia on his face.
That's how I'd describe it. So,
I don't know. I don't really. I mean, I have a few Funkos behind me that got sent to me, but other than that, I don't really collect the Funko Pops.
yeah,
Um,
he's in
but
Nor-
this is a
he's
new
in
one.
jumbo, huh? Do you have any
Oh
Have you purchased any jumbos? I haven't.
no,
I have not. So,
I
oh,
don't. I honestly don't think I've ever actually purchased a Funko Pop. I have the ones that were sent to me for free, and that's it. um, but I have purchased a lot of other stuff that you see behind me. So
just not the Funkos, right?
yeah,
So yeah, so this is over there. This is over there at Target stores. Yeah, while we do not, the people you see on your screen do not currently purchase Funkos. Typically, our fund money budgets go to these types
oh
of
yeah.
things. We have way too many Lego sets, or at least I know I have way too many Lego sets.
I certainly have more than my share of Lego, and this one I hadn't seen this until this morning, and it's pretty neat looking, especially for younger kids. I think will get it. It says ages 6+, so if you got a kid who's 6 and up, this is a really fun set. And you got a buildable Tauntaun. I really love the way the Tauntaun looks, and then a little like mini at and a at driver and a little Luke Skywalker in Hoth gear. Can't go wrong there for $20. It's not bad.
I I love the use of the minis, the tiny pieces to be able to craft both the tauntaun and the AT-AT. They did. Oh, and this look even shoots, Mike.
Yeah.
You
So
can
this
even like
this is a
launch
very
little things.
controversial kind of thing among Lego fans because if you're like me, an adult collector, and you buy a set like this that comes with a Imperial at driver, you want them to have a blaster that looks like a blaster. But for the kids, they put in the fireable. I don't know. It just doesn't look like screen accurate, you know. And that's a very dorky thing to complain about. And yes, these are toys for children, so
Okay, I fall into the I'm excited that I could launch things with it. So
but they do make the blasters that look like the blasters in the movie, but they're only included in like the other, like the bigger sets.
un- unfortunately, it sounds like our talk of Funko purchases has caused our teammate Tony Betty to pause and consider the money that is sitting on his in his house as Funko,
What's the resale value on
right?
certainly more than anything that I've got that I opened, so I can't
Then
really.
they also there's this Imperial shuttle.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a new version of the Imperial shuttle because I have a really, I think I have the first ever Lego Imperial shuttle that ever came out. And it still had the yellow, all the characters had the yellow faces like all the rest of Lego, but then they started making them like skin tone. This doesn't come with the Emperor, which I thought was odd.
Yeah, this is wow. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm all looking deeply at it. It comes with Luke and Darth Vader.
Right.
And
The one I have comes with Emperor Palpatine and 2 Imperial guards and a pilot. So you've got the pilot here, and then Luke, who doesn't ever fly on. Oh, I guess he flies on the shuttle when the rebels steal it with Han and Leia and everybody, but not on the one that brings Vader to the whatever. I'm not going to complain. Again, I think these are more targeted at. Well, this one's a little bit of an older. Oh yeah, this is 9+. So.
Well, and they're claiming this one to be inspired by Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, which I find interesting since since it has Darth Vader, right?
And Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi. Yeah, that's very
odd.
And
if you and on the box, Mike, you can see it says play it in Lego Star Wars, the Star Wars saga. You see that little label right there on the.
Yeah.
So they're marketing the upcoming game series that I am so excited for and can't wait because I am a Lego game fan. So.
Yeah, I feel like that game was supposed to come out like a year ago because even way back then I was getting Lego sets and it would say like play this vehicle in Lego Star Wars saga, Skywalker saga, whatever. And then there'd be like a code in the instruction manual that you'd use to unlock the ship or whatever. And I hopefully I still have them somewhere.
Have them.
When I get the game, I have to go through and find which ones had the code or whatever, so I could play the Razor Crest and.
Have you played those Lego games on previous consoles? Because I have it for Wii, but I didn't play it very much because I was a very, very, very extremely late comer to the Wii. So by the time I got a Wii, I ended up getting an Xbox shortly after.
Yeah, I've dabbled in some of the Lego games, but like you, I haven't invested a whole lot of time in them, but they are fun.
I've invested most of my gaming time in the Lego Jurassic World set. So it's like you play through all of the movies. So that's been the majority of my gaming. So I'm very excited for the arrival of Star Wars because that's a franchise I'm much more interested in the Jurassic World one, and I enjoyed that plenty. There's the wit and humor of that Lego movie brand, to the gameplay of the movie franchises as well. I tried some of the Lego Avengers games, but this is a mom pet peeve, but their save points are too far spread out, and I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to invest between save points.
I remember I bought Lego Marvel Superheroes, I think, when it came out. It was like $4 on sale. It was like a Black Friday sale or something. So I bought it. And I was like, yeah, some of these puzzles are tricky to figure out. Like, I was like, this is really intended for younger kids. And I'm having trouble figuring out what to do next in this game. But I guess kids are a little bit more in tune with like the current gaming strategies or something. I don't know.
I was trying to recall, and I don't know if this was something that was kind of in your wheelhouse growing up, but were there like Star Wars related board games and that type of thing when in your youth? Do you recall that being a thing?
Well, I grew up in that period of the 80s where they weren't making anything Star Wars, like from like 1985 to 1991, when I was ages like 6 to 11 years old, which would have been like the perfect age to be into Star Wars. I was more into like He-Man and Ghostbusters and then Ninja Turtles. So that was like the,
Gotcha. The dark times.
Yes. It really was like a dead period for Star Wars. But there were Star Wars board games that were made before that when the original trilogy was coming out. And then certainly after that, there's plenty.
Yeah, I remember when shortly after I was married, in the midst of the prequel releases, that my husband and we bought the electronic Star Wars Battleship version, where you would, you'd have they had clear bases, and so you could set various. I think I'm remembering this correctly. I might be blending memories. Watch, I'm blending memories and making up something that didn't even happen. But yeah, that kind of, I was trying to recall, because I can recall playing, board games based on Disney Rescuers that came out in 77, 78-ish. And I couldn't recall ever playing. I could only recall playing like with my friends' Hasbro toys. I don't recall ever coming across a Star Wars board game. And that's
the most famous one I think is called the Death Star Escape board game that came out with the original film.
Was it? Do you recall? Was it like a super complicated? Like you had to build mass. Oh no, I see. It was move around the board, kind of like a sorry looking.
Yeah, and I want to say they've actually like re-released that recently within the last year or two, and it came with like an action figure or something.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that at Target and being like almost.
You're right,
But...
and it came with Grand Moff Tarkin. Very good. Yeah, yeah, very good. Okay, sorry, just doing a little bit of a memory lane and seeing because. No, it's fun for me because we're generationally different as far as
I've never played that game though, but I have played. My favorite Star Wars board game is called Imperial Assault, and it's a very like in-depth, very complicated board game with a lot of pieces, which I love. And it has like the board is like modular, so each little section comes apart, and you can build it into like a infinite different like configurations and stuff like that. But we've spent a lot of hours on that game.
Well, we could continue down this rabbit hole because we one time tried to play a Lost board game. I don't even think we made it through the instructions, but instead we'll move on to the St. Patrick's Day gift guide from StarWars.com. Now, I believe this compilation was actually, I think did you write this one for Laughing Place? Help Laughing Place do this one?
I did, and I think I was in a very snarky mood that morning.
I loved this. I laughed so hard reading through this, Mike. I can't lie. It was so much fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I would write it the same way right now, but I definitely was. I was like, why are there Star Wars St. Patrick's Day mugs? Like I just didn't get the connection there, but.
It's very good. No, it was This I think this was my favorite though. When you said do these things go together? Stormtroopers, 4-leaf clovers? Not really, but I guess it doesn't matter. It's St. Patrick's Day. Aaron go bragh, Stormtroopers. I feel you. It's like one of those things where I could relate to how you were feeling when you stumbled on this mug.
I think also it was partially me seeing if anyone ever read the text that got written under these images. So I guess the answer is yes.
Oh, not only did I read it, but I pulled my husband over and read it aloud to him. We both had a delightful time. So, but what they've done is they've taken a lot of the Star Wars green characters or green imagery, and they've gathered them up into this list of items. If you want to bring a little Star Wars fun into your, St. Patty's time greenness, it's a time of
only like 2 of these things are actually like this one's got the 4-leaf clover, so I'll give him that. And then the previous one is also, clovers and stuff. So but the rest is just like. Things that are either green or feature something that's green. So
you felt like you were playing $100,000 pyramid. I'll take Star Wars things that are green. Oh wait, there was this one as well, right? It was this necklace that was a Jedi Master Diamond pendant.
Right.
Oh, and wow, did you bring back a memory with this one? Because you said it reminded you of the movie Return to Oz. When the Gnome King makes Dorothy go into the room to pick out which items her friends have been transformed into. And because it's the Emerald City, it's green stuff.
Yeah, anything that's green. And I agree with myself there. I said that movie is pretty rad.
Okay,
I'm going to be talking about that pretty soon on my podcast.
That is the stuff of nightmares, that movie.
I love that movie so much. I think I'm going to say it on my podcast, and I'll say it here as a preview, that is the most underrated children's movie of all time.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You're that wow. Where is it? Is it accessible to people right now?
Return to Oz, Disney Plus.
It is on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Oh.
For the first time I've ever seen it in HD, which is great because the DVD I have, I mean, it may have been released on Blu-ray at some point, but I bought the DVD, the very first DVD that ever came out for Return to Oz, and it looks terrible. It's not even anamorphic, so it doesn't fill up my widescreen TV. It just sits in a little box in the middle. I have to zoom in on the thing.
Oh no,
But
that's awful.
yeah, now it looks great on Disney Plus. I'm looking forward to revisiting it for Who's the Bossk, because it was made in conjunction with Lucasfilm. So
we should also get the LP crew together, and I'll talk about it on the YouTube as well. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it was a launch title for Disney Plus.
Because I'm not joking. That is among like the most like haunt my nightmares villain within the Disney realm.
Who's that? What's her name?
Who takes off her heads? Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm blanking on what her name was.
Well, because yeah.
You know, I know what you're talking about. But
yeah,
I think the movies I have the most fond memories of from my childhood were the ones that really scared me, and I think that's definitely one of them. I mean, that movie opens with Dorothy getting like shock treatment,
right? Yeah, no,
because nobody believes her about Oz.
It's really, it's like there's even the portions that are kind of I don't want to say open, but like the happy moments are like this industrial happy. It's like there's like this pallor over them, even though they're like the sunshine moments. It's still
and for that reason, I bet it. I mean, I haven't read the original L. Frank Baum Wizard of Oz books, but I'm guessing that this Return to Oz is probably truer to those books than the classic Wizard of Oz film that we know and or love.
Before we get back to our actual topic of Star Wars stuff, have you ever seen the Disney Parks representations that they had for some of those figures? TikTok and whatnot. Oh, okay. I'll have to do that later. Okay.
No, but at the Walt Disney Archives exhibit at the was that museum, the Bowers Museum?
Yes.
They had the portrait of the characters from the film that's used in the film, and I was like, that was one of like several things that I was most excited to see at that exhibit. Like they remembered to include Return to Oz. That's crazy.
Wow. Continuing the St. Patty's Day, they bring us green tea, which is green in name only through here.
I'm remembering now what I wrote about some of these things.
And then we have the Gamorrean fighter, which I thought you pointed out that they're more svelte, was a rather epic evaluation there, making sure we knew the difference between these guys and Boba Fett. No, I'm sorry, Jabba the Hutt's.
Right. I wonder if now maybe like the diet at Jabba's palace changed. You know, the whatever buffets they were having changed or whatever after Jabba got killed, because it seems like everyone, even including Bib Fortuna. Oh, I guess Bib Fortuna went the other way around, but
well, maybe it's a little bit of the stereotype of the like I say, the stereotype, the like mall cop versus the fireman. Right. You think of the really svelte, so it's like maybe that's the difference. This guy's like the fighter. He's the one in the ring. Yeah. He's got to, that's how he makes his money. The other guy just kind of stand around and bumps into people.
Right, but I was wondering why the Gamorreans in Jabba's palace were skinnier than they are in the movie, but then I was thinking, they probably had made this Gamorrean to fight in the ring in the first episode of the season, and then they were like, we're going to go back to Jabba's palace, and they already had that costume ready, who wasn't the heavier Gamorrean.
Good point. Yeah.
Just dressed him up to look like the one from Jabba's palace.
There you go.
These are the kinds of things that keep me up at night.
And then we have a Rodian sweatshirt.
The Arabesh bothered me on this a little bit because it says Rhodia on the right there, Rodia. I'm having. Then you could see on the bottom it says in English Tyreus. System, and then underneath Rhodia on the right it says TY and then blank and an apostrophe, and then US, like it left out a couple letters or something.
Well, it seemed like the R is missing.
Yeah, but again, these are the things that no
That
one
keep
will
Mike
ever notice but me.
very, very nice. Okay, Mike, you got really dark on this one. Do you remember?
I do remember, yes.
It says, okay, so
This
these
is
are
one of those things that's like I wrote it and I was like, no one's ever gonna notice. It's just gonna be this little in joke from me and me only, and then it's like coming
sorry.
back to haunt me
So,
by
so
the founder of the site that I'm tarnishing with my
yeah, no,
terrible.
I loved it. See, check it out. It's like
Oh, I'm glad you liked
no. This is because check it out. So it's like what child matching pajamas,
it.
and then you bring it the lovely bedtime story of the moments in time where do you think these kids wonder whether Baby Yoda was murdered by Ben Solo when he became Kylo Ren and massacred all the students at Skywalker's Jedi Training Academy? And the reason why this amused me so much was because I was envisioning little Mike C in his pajamas having these thoughts as he's trying to go to bed, and instead he's wondering about poor Baby Yoda. So,
Well,
yeah.
I'm sure some kid out there is asking that question because the kids have seen the movies. The kids
Right.
know they saw The Last Jedi and what happened with the flashbacks. Ben Solo going crazy and burning down the whole thing. Well, actually,
Yeah.
Snoke burned it down if you read the comics. But then then they're seeing the Mandalorian and they're like, "Oh, Luke took Grogu. What's going to happen to Grogu?" If they're paying attention, they're going to have the same questions. I'm sure Grogu is fine. The series is going to continue, and we'll see him again, and he'll be whisked away to perfect safety.
Oh, I don't disagree. I just, like I say, it was one of those things where I felt like this was taking us back into uh, the Mike C.
That one is
as a
even
little Mike
worse.
C.
This one might be even more embarrassing for me.
Just the fact that Grogu rhymes with snowshoe.
Well, I was trying to come up because I was like Grogu, and then it's a shoe
Sorry.
kind of. It's more of a what was it? Like a moccasin.
Yeah, it's a moccasin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not quite a snowshoe. But Grogu, if you're trying to rhyme something with Grogu, snowshoe is the way to go.
It's not quite the level of
Or yeah,
the J. Peterman catalog write-ups that we used to enjoy
right.
when we would watch Seinfeld. But
Yeah. Or I was thinking Roku is another one. Like if you have
Roku.
the Roku box.
So you were crafting an entire poem as you
Yeah.
sat down to write this for LP.
Right.
Oh dear. Okay, and then of course they had to share the Yoda keychain, the Funko, but then the Boba Fett. I guess that's green. Do you think of him as green?
Yes.
I don't. Okay.
I think his helmet is a shade of green.
Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely green. I mean, this toy is green at least.
Okay.
What color would you say he is?
In my head, I think of it as a gray, but I guess it kind of has a greenish tone to it. So yeah. So I'll move on. And then this one was great too because it's a T-shirt with the Ewoks that says "Protect our forests," and Mike reminds us that hey, I've seen the Battle of Endor. They're perfectly capable of protecting their forests. Thank you very much. So yeah, like I say, Mike, you brought a lot of joy as you reviewed the Star Wars guide to all things green that you can bring home to your house during the month of March, which is when we find St. Patty's Day. And if cities can dye rivers green, then Mike can have some fun that this title is highlighted as something to buy because it features a green lightsaber.
Yeah, that was actually the reason they gave. I could have just copy pasted what they said on the StarWars.com post, but I felt like it just needed a little bit something more here. And they said this is included because that lightsaber was green. And I was like, come on, guys. I know you're trying to get, you're trying to get the word out there about the High Republic. I really like this book. I have not heard the audiobook, which is this is specifically what they were trying to promote there was the audiobook.
Which I can understand, because in our house, a lot of our reading is actually, we're all audiobook people. We tend to have it on while we're doing something.
Yeah.
I consume far more books that way nowadays than I did previously, especially with it being so easily available through library rental. Before, it used to be a cost prohibitive to do audiobooks. But now, like I say, I've been able to check out the High Republic audiobooks from my local library, and they're brand new titles. You can through the app look for your library's app, and you can put yourself on a wait list, and then as it becomes available, then it'll come into your app, and you can listen to the book. Great way to catch up on all sorts of different titles, including Star Wars. Hi, Bianca. Hi, Brady. So just to put that out there, if you hadn't given that, because I hadn't thought of the Star Wars titles as far as library, because they're brand new, so I didn't think they would be accessible. But no, it maybe takes a week or two at times. Usually the app will let you know how long your wait period is, and don't be intimidated, because I've been told with some titles months, and then it's come up just a couple of weeks later. So yeah. There you go. And I guess finally, Mike, who's the boss? We can talk about what you've got going on this week with your Who's the Bossk episode.
I enjoyed this week's episode. I don't always think it's a good show, my podcast, Who's the Bossk, but I walked away from this episode thinking that was a good one. And it's The Empire Strikes Back. So I'm doing every Lucasfilm project this year as part of the 50th anniversary. Celebrating the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm, going through every major project the company was involved with from 1971 when it was founded all the way up through when Disney bought the company in 2012. This week we happen to be up to The Empire Strikes Back, the second of the Star Wars films. And for this episode, I've got a gentleman named George Kostel, and he is the founder of a social media account called Veers Watch, which is kind of like an in-joke in the Star Wars fan community. And what he does on Veers Watch is he consumes every new piece of Star Wars content and reports back on the Twitter account whether or not that character right there, General Veers, is in the story or not.
Wow.
If you want to find out more or why he does this or how it got started, you can listen to my podcast, Who's the Bossk? It's available now where finer podcasts are sold for free.
Wow! Oh, that'll be okay. I've seen that that account pop up every now and again in my own timeline, and from various Star Wars fans I follow, and I will now have to listen to the podcast so I understand more of why it exists.
Well, I started the episode thinking of him as a peer. This guy's a fellow Star Wars fan, a member of the Star Wars fan community. And then by the end, I was very jealous of him because he's had a Star Wars character named after him in the current canon. And I was like, man, I gotta get that somehow. How does that happen?
Game.
I gotta come up with a better gimmick,
There you go.
I don't know how you do that. I don't know. His thing caught on, and
right.
People know who he is. Now he's got his own Star Wars character.
Yeah, you gotta find that little niche that is. But that one sounds hard to maintain. See, I would want to find something smaller so I didn't have to consume quite as much, right? Because that's a full-time job nowadays, especially.
Well, maybe if Who's the Bossk catches on, I'm thinking maybe they can name Bossk's brother after me or something.
Oh, there you go. That'd work. I'll start the write-in campaign for that one. There you go. Hey, if you've been enjoying our banter and general fun here, don't forget to like this stream. It lets people find us easier. And here at Laughing Place, we've got all kinds of stuff going on. We had a walk and talk where we were live from Epcot at the beginning of the Flower and Garden Taste of Flower and Garden Festival there at Epcot. We were showing off the new flagpoles. Yeah.
Touch of, taste of. It's hard to keep them straight. It really is.
Right.
I don't blame you.
and Jeremiah was wandering around and shared some new items, lots of Orange Bird merchandise. And if you were here, you would have seen it live as he was there. And on Tuesday, Becca and I talked about lots of new merchandise that you can find at Shop Disney and other retailers. And tonight on Laughing Place, we are actually, well, I should say in a little while on Laughing Place at 4 o'clock. Am I right on the time, DB? 4 o'clock? We're going to be debuting a new show, LP TV Talk. And tonight's episode is going to be talking about Simpsons, Grownish, WandaVision, American Housewives, Secrets of Sulphur Springs. I know, Mike C., you're going to be chatting, right?
Yeah, I'm covering The Simpsons and DuckTales, which didn't make it into the collage.
No, that's my fault. DuckTales, okay. DuckTales as well.
I guess only one of those is only WandaVision is a Disney Plus show, so I should take that off. But
oh no, it's all good. Disney Plus is great.
Yeah. Oh, I did want to mention before we wrap up too that
no problem.
In the next 2 weeks, starting today, I'll be covering 4 different theme parks here in Southern California, which is super exciting for somebody who's been trapped in my house for a year. So tomorrow I'll be at Knott's Berry Farm. A week from tomorrow, I'll be at Universal Studios Hollywood, stepping foot in that park for the first time in a year, which is crazy, or more. No, it was about a year because I was there to check out the Secret Life of Pets. I saw inside the Secret Life of Pets ride. I didn't get to go on it that day, but I have seen the ride. It does exist. And then the following week, the day after Universal, I'll be at SeaWorld San Diego. And then the following week on Thursday is the big Touch of Disney event at Disney California Adventure. And we'll be going live a bunch from these events. I'll be tweeting a whole bunch, taking lots of photos and video. And I really hope this sets the tone for the rest of 2021, because I think people are sick of looking at our faces in little boxes. They want to see us out in the world, out at the parks, having fun.
I agree. Lots to see and do. It'll be nice when there's stuff like that going. It'll be nice now that there's stuff like that going on again, because I think that's where our team really excels and has the most fun, is when we're able to bring in the park experiences home to those who are not able to be there in person themselves. So with that, I want to thank Mike again for keeping us up to date on all things Star Wars here at laughingplace.com, and invite everyone to be sure to pop back by Laughing Place YouTube channel around 4 o'clock, or like I say, hit that subscribe button and you'll get a nice little notification that says bing, it's about to go live, and then you'll be able to hop on over and catch the team talking about a variety of Disney TV shows and Fox and just the Disney empire in general.
Kidder is on top of it.
Oh, did Kidder has the yeah, that's right. The LP TV Club later today. Please join the fun. I'm excited. As someone who did tested out a new show concept last night, I am excited to see how the LP TV Club does today, and I know how fun it is to do something new. So thanks everyone for joining us here, and we hope to see you again later today. Bye for now.